Timmy Joe Reviews Anything.
Reviewing computer parts on YouTube.
That's fine.
Gotta be pumped on that, right, Will? Computer parts! Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Hi there, my name's Timmy Joe. I make videos about computers on the internet. And today I gotta talk about my strange addiction. I eat toilet paper.
A bulky roll with a 2-ply, I can probably take down half the roll.
No, I'm kidding. My strange addiction is actually straight up freaking RGB. When I get home and it's dark and that computer's lit up like a carnival ride in this dark room, it brings me joy. And I was lacking a good kit of RGB memory. Ballistix sent me something to cure what ails me. Their new tactical RGB memory, okay? Now I've had a featured RGB RAM here in the past, also some static color lit up memory. I gotta say the kit I have, the Geel, you had to get wires to it. It's a weird thing. They've since changed that up, and there's a soup. They got like a different version of that, but you know it took them some time to get to that point. Ballistix held out until this technology was perfected, and I'm glad they did because it works very, very well, as we'll see in some software implementation in just a moment. But to get the elephant out of the room, this isn't some super high-end performance memory. It's kind of middle of the road. It's a gunmetal with individual light-up LEDs at the top of it, and you're mostly paying for the research and development to put those colors on the top, I think, because it only comes in an 8 and 16 gig kits, and our DIMMs, I should say, and there's 2666 and 3000, and it's not Samsung DDI, obviously, because Crucial makes their own RAM. Decent cast latencies, but this isn't going to be the absolute best possible scenario for Ryzen. But that being said, this is the 2666 version, and I am able to bring it up here. Run it at 2933, so I'm actually running it way further than its rated speed with absolutely no issues. You see that number there, 1465. If I bring up the calculator app here, it is 2933 if you double it. So that's good. That's cool. But I have one of the better motherboards. That's actually still the X370 version of the ARS with a really good clock gen on it. It's able to do memory very, very well. One of the best. I am going to be using this RAM on the AMD Combat Crate, which I am currently working on testing. I got a case issue. I want to do the right case. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna look this over and we're gonna see what's up with it. There's some really cool stuff you can do with the software on it, and it's worth talking about. But you want to know the price? It's expensive. It's $209 for the 2666 16 gig kit, which is on the pretty much, it's close to G.Skill's version of this type of memory. And, for I think another $15–20 you can get a G.Skill kit that's 3200 with the fancy lights on top of it. But they've been out for a while. This is new stuff for Ballistix. It will come down in price eventually, and there might be other implementations of it, other speeds. But for now, this is what we're stuck with. And if you want, let's say, there's lots of options there. You can check them out in the description below. And the RGB on this is really well done. So the way it kind of works is you load this software, the mod software by Ballistix, and it's a memory overview display, and it does more than just control the lights on it. It actually gives you some really detailed specs on the memory, as well as you can go to each DIMM specifically, check out its cast latency, check out whatever. There's a little bit of information in here, and you could look at the temperatures of the RAM too individually in the software, which I thought was pretty cool. But you're here for the LED control, and that's where this really shines. Now, I don't see that this works with motherboard software like MSI Mystic or Asus or whatever, all that stuff, which might bum you out if you have a whole bunch of RGB stuff already being controlled by the motherboard. But if you're like me, I actually like this because number one, it makes it so it will probably work on lower end motherboards. We will be finding out with that B350 motherboard from the Combat Crate. But what that also means is, you can just kind of load it up and do your own thing with it. And do your own thing you really can, okay? So check this out. You go into Sync All here. You can individually address not only the memory, so if I want to go, DIMM 0, I can set it to static and make it red. Boom! So all the rest of the RAM's doing its thing, and the one stick is static red. That's pretty cool. But we can go one step beyond that. We turn on advanced mode, and now with that 0 dim, we can go zone 1, I want it to be green, and zone 3 I want it to be blue, and zone 5 I want it to be white. And now we have like a candy cane effect going on, so you can individually address the colors on not only the dims themselves but each light zone of the dim. And if you wanted to get really creative for a build, you could do some, like set all of them to static here. We'll go sync all static, and we could put dim 0 is red, and dim 1 is static and is blue, and dim 2 is static and it's green. And then we can go into advanced mode on 1. It's already on advanced mode, and change each of the zones, which is already kind of set up like that. And then you can go in to the next dim and just create this effect, really personal. Now, is everyone going to want this level of customization? No, but now it's here. I haven't really seen this on another kit of RAM that goes this deep into it. So personally, I just like to go sync all, turn advanced mode off, set it to double stack RGB, and then it looks like this, and it's super cool. And it launches with Windows, and it just kind of works. And with it being on this motherboard, and I'm able to set it a little higher, that's lovely. But the speed might limit you, the cost might limit you, but I think in a couple of months, once this comes down a little bit, and maybe there's some other variety of it out there, it might get totally freaking worth it. A competitor for the G skill. But I'm at Watch Timmy Joe on Instagram and Twitter, and I do think this is a pretty cool step in the right direction for RGB memory, for Ballistix. But there are some things that might weigh it on either side for you. But if you want individually addressable LEDs along every dim, individual addressable dims, this is your software. This is going to be pretty cool. You can save a profile here, and make it so you always have it, and you can set up some sort of a Christmas light show or whatever, what have you. So check it out. There's links in the description below. It's available on Amazon, and the prices aren't terrible. They're just they're so. So speaking of memory, I actually have purchased myself the most expensive possible kit of RAM for my Ryzen 2700X to try and beat a record. So stay tuned for that video. I'm going to be following up my trying to break 2000 in Cinebench with an overclock of 4.4 gigahertz. With some really stupid, expensive, fast memory, Samsung B-Die. That will be coming up. I don't know if it's going to help. I'd imagine over the 3200 kit I was using, it probably will help a little bit. But we'll have to watch that video and see, as well as the completion of the combat crate as soon as I have a few of my ducks in a row. That'll be coming up in a couple of days, as well as I got some crazy stuff like, what the hell, I gotta review this. This is a fanless mini PC I was sent with a Core i5 processor in it. I've got, RGB keyboard here from the likes of, what is it, Hermes. It's the Gamdiaz. Gamdiaz, I better learn how to say that. They also have sent me an RGB power supply. We all know how much I love RGB, so lots of content on the way, as well as I'm going to be doing that Socket 775 DDR3 showdown eventually too. So Patreon, if you can donate a little bit to the channel, it's getting to a point where I might be able to do this a lot more, and I encourage you to do all the YouTube things, subscribe, share, like, all that stuff. But you just watching every time and being entertained by my ridiculous nature, that's good enough for me. I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks very much for watching. I'm gonna stare at my freaking RGB memory.